What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Neighbor's Kitchen. Today we're going to answer the questions about what are the differences between the ThermoPro TempSpike series of wireless thermometers. We're going to do a product review on the original, the Plus, and the Pro. I'm going to tell you some of my favorite features, what folks are saying around the internet about them, some of my favorite pieces and not so favorite pieces about them, and then we're going to talk about who I think these are for. Let's check these out. So in no particular order, other than the way they were obtained by me, and perhaps I should mention, these I've all had for a long enough time. I've got some hours in them, so I feel like I have the ability to talk about them. So this is the twin TempSpike original. You can see it's in this nice kind of sled, I think you'd call this. This is the charging cradle. So you charge it via USB-C, and there's a battery in here. The battery charges the probes. You can see here the probes are actually charging right now. And when you pull one out, see our black one here is going to connect first. And if you pull out the white one, that'll show up over here. You got your light button that illuminates the display if you're cooking early in the morning or at night, and then the S button stands for select. So right now you can see it's saying meat, so that is on our probe up to this line. Can you see that? So this line is where you insert the probe up to in the meat. So if you're cooking like a brisket, you stop there. This area of the metal probe is where it gets its temperature for ambient. And if you want to see ambient, you hit select, and you see how it moves to AMB. So because I'm holding it, it's coming up to 81. It is not 81 in my house. That would be ridiculous. And then if you hit select again, you see that little refresh button or arrow. It's going to cycle between the two. And that setting is for both of them. So if you're using, I don't know, if you're doing 2 pieces of something, maybe a chuck roast and a chicken, you got them both monitored all the time. So that works really well. Truly wireless design is awesome. The dual probes for monitoring different parts. Maybe you have a thick part and a thin part and you want to monitor everything. It works great. This model is available as well in a single probe if you'd be interested in that. The Bluetooth range for the probes is like a couple of feet. So the base station has to stay near your probes when you're cooking, but the range from the base station to your phone or tablet or smart device where you have the app downloaded and installed is 500 feet. Now that is direct line of sight. So if you're outside and you go farther in the backyard, you're going to get pretty close to 500 feet. But if you go inside, you know, have walls, maybe lawn furniture, trees, landscaping, it's going to cut down on your range. So not a big deal. The probes have a battery life, rechargeable, mind you, of up to 36 hours, so your long cooks will be covered. So what are people saying on the internet? So I just kind of scoured some Amazon reviews and some reviews on ThermoPro's website, and people comment that the accuracy in Bluetooth is reliable, so that's very positive. People really love the fact that it is rechargeable, don't have to be replacing batteries. A lot of people find the accompanying app very basic, leaving something to be desired. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. I want to talk about some of my favorite things about this, and then we're going to go over and review the ThermoPro Plus. Both of those units use the same app, so we'll talk about that all together. Okay, so what are my favorite features about the original TempSpike? So this was the first one that I purchased when I realized that the Traeger Pro 34 onboard thermometer probe is not accurate at all. So apparently there is some kind of process where you can reconcile the adjustment, but I don't want to do that every time. I want something that I can trust every time. So I purchased this. I did an unboxing video on it. I'll put that down below if you want to check it out. So the reason I went with this over competitors was the truly wireless design. I love that. The wireless wired ones, and what I mean by that is there's a base station that then has those wire kind of mesh long thin probes, and then from the base station to either a different Bluetooth thing or your phone, the wire mesh probes, once they're dirty, they're never clean again. They don't clean up well, in my opinion. These are easy, simple soap and water cleanup. They look brand new. I've used the crap out of this, so very pleased with that. That's what made me purchase it. I'm a big fan of the dual display method. You can either monitor this on your cell phone, tablet, what have you. Works with both Android and iOS. But you have everything right here too. Say you walk outside just to check where you're at, and you left your phone in the garage or something. You got it all right here. You don't have to worry about it. And one of the things I wasn't expecting, but I had a barbecue last summer, and I like to have people over a little early. Just, catch up, maybe have a few libations, and you'd have people like, "Hey, Danny, what temperature are we going to?" "Oh, we're reaching for 203," and then people would come by and they'd be like, "Oh, 198, we're almost there." And people kind of got a kick out of that, so that was cool. Only complaint about it is it looks a little basic, industrial. I don't know. It's just, if you're into gadgetry, as I am, you want your gadgets to look cool too. It functions well. I don't think that takes away from it, but it ain't got much going for it as far as looks. So that's pretty cool. And the app, as people were saying, does leave a little to be desired, but we'll talk about that after this next one. Let's talk about the TempSpike Plus. All right, here is the TempSpike Plus. It has all the features that the original TempSpike has, plus an upgraded Bluetooth range. So from the base station to the app, you have a Bluetooth range. Once again, that's direct line of sight, no obstructions, of up to 600 feet. Not real sure how they did that. I suspect they're using a different version of Bluetooth. Much more attractive cradle and upgraded probes. So here's the biggest difference. Let me grab one of these out here. Can you guys see the difference in diameter? Okay. And you can see here, the length is the same from where you put the meat in. So you go all the way up to the handle on this probe, and the plastic part picks up the ambient temperature. This is also much more attractive. It's got a nice kind of chiseled handle above the original. Put that back. And if we come back here, you can see we still have a light button. We still have our select button. You can go from meat, ambient, or refresh. That's largely the same. You can see here it tells you which probes here. And then I don't know what they got going on here. Are we gonna get a red and yellow upgrade one day? I don't know. Yeah, but this is a great unit. I'm a much bigger fan of this. It's got a little hook on it if you want to hang it somewhere. Magnetic base. I forgot to mention that. This is also magnetic, so you can stick it to the side of your smoker, grill, oven, whatever. This is also available in a single probe option if that is something that you are interested in. I always opt for the two, just because, why not? All right, what are people saying about this online? Once again, scoured the reviews and comments. People really like the upgraded range. So I've never had any issues with the original one. It only disconnected when I, forgot that I had my phone on and I go to check the mail or something. This one I've had very good luck with as well. A lot of people comment that they like the thinner probes, and that makes sense. These are awful bulky, and it sticks out quite a bit. So if you're cooking a smaller cut of meat, like maybe a chicken breast or just say a steak, you're running out of room on whatever it is you're cooking on, and then you have this gaping hole which just allows for moisture to leak out of. And the whole idea of checking your temperature is to not dry it out. So I'm a big fan of that. It seems people on the internet are a big fan of that. That's in a lot of comments. And one of the things that I really kind of got the feeling, now this is subjective, no one's actually said this, but I really felt that a lot of people upgraded to this from the original. I don't know if that's accurate, but a lot of people still commented on they like that it's rechargeable, they like that it's USB-C, and they like the smaller probes. So what are my favorite features of the Plus? Well, I really like the smaller probes. I think that it just gives you a far greater chance at success in trying to keep the liquids in, especially at the rest for bigger cuts of meat. The probes still have a great 36-hour battery life. They're still easy soap and water cleanup, check. And good job on ThermoPro for making this look a little more attractive. It looks like a gadget that I'd want to display in my kitchen. Even the probes are more attractive in my opinion, so that's cool. So what are the main differences between these two? Well, this has more range by 100 feet. They use the same app. This has big honking probes. This has little probes. Not little, but you know, way more gooder. Both USB-C chargeable, both rechargeable, all great. They have the same warranties. Let's fire up the app. So these, we're just going to use the we're just going to use the TempSpike Plus for this demonstration. And this is the app that the original and the Plus use. It is called the TempSpike App. So we're just going to go ahead and pull these out and let these get going here. So you can see here on our main screen, we got 75 internal, 75 ambient. That is not actually 75, it's because I've been touching it. And so this is the main screen. I spend a lot of time here because it just gives me a good overall kind of knowing what's going on. And if we actually click on it, you can see here, we got up here our different profiles, and it comes with a bunch of different settings. You know, you got fish, beef, lamb, all those. You can add custom ones with this little plus sign down here. You can see I have my brisket set to 203, my beef, all of that. You can record data with that little record button, and you can actually extract that into a CSV and make graphs. I've done that before. I've done it on the channel. You can check that out. You got your battery sensors up there. You can set alarms down here for ambient temperature. I usually turn these off because I typically use my TempSpikes in the oven or on my smokers. And my smokers are all pellet smokers. They're pretty reliable. There have been failures before, but you're going to hear about that otherwise. If you're running charcoal or wood, this is a wonderful way that you could set, okay, I need to go add more. But you got your low ambient temperature, you can change that, go back, your high, and then set that. Very, very handy. And then here you can set your alarms to on or off. It'll even vibrate. You know, if you're doing a long cook and you want to, you know, go to bed, if you're doing an overnight cook, set the alarm off, vibration on, so you don't wake up the missus or whatever. And the same alarms actually work for the internal temperature of the meat. And it does do, we're not actually cooking right now, but this will do a estimation of time left. It works pretty well. I don't know how they do that without you inputting what the size of the meat is. But it works pretty good. Obviously, it gets more accurate the farther you go. Like at first, if I'm doing a brisket and you have it set to beef, it's going to be like, yeah, you'll get there in an hour. And it's like, no. But towards the end, it works really well. So we're currently on the black probe, and if you swipe, there's the white one. And, you know, same here. You can set it to different profiles. So there you have it. There's your recording. You got your history. I don't currently have any history. And if you have an original and a plus, or a twin plus and a single plus, they will all stack up right in this screen right here, which is convenient if you buy a single and decide that you want another single. So you could customize this to however you want. But this is the app, pretty basic, not a lot of bells and whistles. It is highly customizable, gets the job done. I think I forgot to mention that app setup for the TempSpike app on the original and the Plus is super easy. I did an unboxing video for the original where I set it up for the first time on camera. I remember being very pleased that it didn't ask me to sign up for an account. No account, it just needed access to Bluetooth on my phone. Yeah, I'm tech oriented, but I would say that anybody could set that up. No problem. Now let's go ahead and move on and talk about the TempSpike Pro. Okay, it is an understatement to say that this has all the capabilities of its predecessors and much, much more. So the TempSpike Pro comes in a 2 and a 4 probe option. It does not come in a single, and as far as I know at this time, there is no upgrade package. So if you buy a 2 probe model, I don't believe there is the expansion pack for this. That's not to say if not, one day that will be available. This is a relatively new product, came out in December, and these are all module here. So I have not yet figured out a practical use for that, but they seem to be pretty proud of it. So perhaps one day you and I together can team up in the comments below and figure out a practical way to use the modularity there. So you can see here it's got these broken kind of cam locks, and it's got this nice little base station, sled, cradle. There is a battery in here that will charge your probes. Once again, USB-C. So this one charges everything, including the base station, but you can also charge the base station on its own. You can see here. So if you're doing a really long cook and maybe this battery's starting to go down, probes still have the same great battery life as the other models. Let's talk about the major upgrades from its predecessor. All right, so first off, this uses a different app. We're going to get to that at the end. I'll fire up the phone again and I'll show you some of the fantastic features that they added into the new app. On top of that, these are still the same profile probes as the Plus, but they're packing a surprise. These have hot and cold sensors. So there's a sensor at the tip, one in the middle, and one farther up. I'll show you when we get to the app why I love that, but that is a huge upgrade. The other thing here that is absolutely awesome about the TempSpike Pro, it utilizes Wi-Fi. Danny, why in the heck do I need Wi-Fi on my thermometers? I understand how absurd that might sound at face value, but hear me out, okay? As we were talking earlier with the original TempSpikes, it only uses Bluetooth. So if you get enough walls and furniture and stuff between you, you can lose connectivity to your phone. The addition of Wi-Fi allows the base station to connect to your network, and then that is a permanent connection. It's not roaming around in your pocket. And then your phone connects to your Wi-Fi or LTE, 4G, whatever the heck we're using these days. So you can monitor your cook from wherever on your property, up to and including errands to the grocery store. I did an unboxing video on this as well, and I proved it out by getting in my truck and driving to a park several miles away. Never lost connectivity. And I understand that that's an absurd scenario. You're probably never going to do that. You're probably not supposed to leave your stuff cooking while you're gone. But we had to test it for science. No, the biggest thing is maybe you're not spending time near your smoker. Maybe you're in the kitchen cooking your sides and there's just too much space, there's too many obstructions between you. You can monitor it perfectly from there. Maybe you do have to run down the street on a beer run real quick. I don't know what you got going on. But I am a big fan of that because it's the most reliable method of wireless cooking, monitoring, wireless cooking. Hang on, we can do this. Remote cooking monitoring. Got it. So that's really cool. I'm a big fan of that. I think I covered everything I wanted to say about the features of this. Now let's talk about what people are saying on the internet about this. Not a whole lot. So this was released in December of 24. So we're only on like month 3 of it being out. People are saying they really like the comprehensive features in the app. And they said the combination of extended range, thin probes, and additional functionalities enhances overall cooking. I couldn't agree more. But it hasn't been out enough for a whole lot of people to say, so that was pretty easy. I want to talk about my favorite features and some things that I wish they would improve on. So I think I've talked long enough about Wi-Fi. That's my favorite part there. It gives me the expandability to hang out anywhere on the property. You know, if I'm having people over and it's mid-morning, I can mow the grass and have this totally on my phone. I can set alarms in my earphones. I know if something needs to be tended to. I am a huge fan of the hot and cold spot sensors. It really gives you an idea of how fast your meat is cooking. And I'll show you here when we get to the app. You're going to be able to see a very nice visual representation if you're cooking too hot or too fast, which are two sides of the same coin. Because if this is a lot of degrees higher than this, you're cooking fast. If they're a couple degrees apart, you know you're doing it correctly. And it just gives you a really nice kind of guideline of how long your cook is going to take. So that is a major upgrade. I love that. I told you I really liked the aesthetics of the Plus over the original, and I like the looks of this even more. I think this looks so cool. This is what I'm looking for in gadgetry. It's got this nice cradle. And not only that, but you can ditch the cradles into the kitchen. And this is just a way more ergonomic base station. It's got a little kickstand too. So that's neat. This part is magnetic. So you could put this on your smoker or grill or oven. But that's really the only thing I haven't quite figured out about the TempSpike Pros is storage. I like displaying this on my fridge because I'm proud of my products and my gadgetry. But this just doesn't store very well. I've been keeping it on a wooden plate next to the cast iron corner. Obviously that's not a deal breaker, but I haven't figured out how to really store this well. Counter space is precious here in the neighbor's kitchen. Whew. Yeah, that's about it on the actual unit. Let's go ahead and fire up this app. Okay, so you can see here, the TempSpike app is what we use for the original and the Plus, and the new app is called ThermoPro. We're going to fire that up. And little foreshadowing for what's to come on the channel this year. You can see, I have named my dual probe. See it coming online there? That one's going into the camper. I have Wi-Fi in my camper because I like to work from there. I think the additional feature of having this over Wi-Fi is going to be awesome because I will on occasion run out of range with Bluetooth with the original TempSpike, which I used to have in the camper. If I'm doing a long cook like pulled pork or brisket, sometimes I'm hanging out at a friend's campsite and they're not necessarily my neighbor. So this is going to be a game changer. I'm going to be able to monitor whatever it is that I'm cooking from anywhere in the campground. And then down here I have the 4-1. Let's see that firing up here as the House Pro. Should probably turn it on, huh? So there's that. But you can see, so we have very similar to the TempSpike app. So you can see very similar to the original ThermoPro app. The home screen just gives you a very good summary of everything you got going on. If we pull more of these out, you got internal, target, ambient. Let's go ahead and let's play with this yellow one because I got all these new colors. So this graph automatically starts populating. The other one starts populating as well, but it's in a different window. This is right on the home screen. And I do believe you have to be recording to get the graph on the original app. This automatically throws it in your face. So that's cool. Once again here, you have all these profiles, but check this out. It goes a step further. So if you click on poultry, it goes and it gives you all these different options of poultry, and then it goes farther. You go in here, you want a medium rare, medium well, well done, and it just gives you so many options here. Venison, steak, roast. It's got all these automatically programmed in, and you can do custom just like the other app. That's very cool. The biggest addition for me is the use of the graph. So let's see here. Let's get it. Whoop. Whoop. We can do it. See, look at that. Climbing. Climbing still. I'm trying to stay off of the ambient part here. It's not working so well. But you see how the blue line is going up a little faster than the yellow handle is where the ambient's coming. We'll go a little bit longer here. Yeah. See that? That's pretty neat. So that's pretty cool. Now, we'll let the white one cool down here. Let's go find, there's the white one. So if we actually click on you click on the number. I don't know if I can show you where I'm clicking on the thing, but I'm actually clicking on the 69.6, and it brings up the probe temperatures. So let's see. Can I get just, yep, 173, yep. So that's the tip. This would be the one that finishes last usually. Let's see here. Can I manipulate this one? Yep. Yeah, that's a game changer, especially if you're an up-and-coming barbecuer. Just the way that you understand how things work, this gives you a wonderful visual representation into how you're cooking. I'm a big fan of that. It's got your alarms in it, just like the other app. But you can customize your ringtones on this like it's 1996 again. Yeah, you got all your probes here. You can see the black and red are still sitting in their cradles. But here you can see, so we got the black and white here. Here's our home screen, so you can add as many of these as you want. At this time, you cannot add these into this app. Who knows, maybe one day you can. Setup on this app, very easy. Now, I did mention earlier in the ThermoPro app, I was very impressed that you did not have to sign up for an account. You have to have an account on this app, and that's just a security matter. If you're allowing a service into your home via your network, you have to give it permission. There has to be an account. That's just the way it is. I have no qualms with their security details, so I accepted everything, and it works well. Very, very, very pleased with this product and this app. This app looks much more modern too. Just if you go back into the yellow here, you can see our graph is going down since I set it back on the table. Just everything about it feels smoother. So Big fan of that. Let's get this put away and charging. There we go. So you got the red lights come on and it's recharging the probes for next time. Now let's finish up this video. I want to talk about who these are for. These are for anybody who likes to cook. Clearly, it doesn't matter if you're beginning or if you've done this forever and you have your own Netflix series. My personal recommendation, I'm gonna say, is this one. I mean, you should always have more features than you're gonna need every single time, in my opinion. It's one of those things, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. The extended range, the reliability, the smaller probes, the use of the 3 points in the probe, and the upgraded app are just a plethora of wins for me, in my opinion. I love that. I love the option of having 4 probes. That is something new to me. I'm still trying to figure out why I would need 4 probes, but once again, to my knowledge, there's nothing that exists, and I don't know if it's coming out for an upgrade. So it's nice to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. As the year progresses, I'm going to figure out when and why you need 4 probes versus 2. Maybe you're just not on board of over-teching your cooking equipment, and that's fine. I get it. I'm a gadgetry nerd. That just happens. The 2 works just fine. Maybe you don't want Wi-Fi. This is my recommendation. The differences between this and the original, just alone, the smaller diameter probes and the fact that you don't have as much sticking out in your ambient area is a game changer. I think this is much more attractive. These are available in 1 probe models as well. Maybe you're looking to save some money, but you really want to get into this and learn more about barbecuing or regular cooking. This is great for, if you're going to use this just once a year for your turkey at Thanksgiving, that's great. But I would recommend going with the single option of these. Maybe you're wanting to gift this to someone who's a little older and they don't want to fuss with any of the technology. Well, all of these are still a great option. So the TempSpike Pros still work if you never set up Wi-Fi. They'll still work just the same over Bluetooth. Alternatively, let's say you're giving these to someone who don't even want to fuss with the Bluetooth. You can not set these up on the app. All 3 different lines. You can just bypass the app. You don't really bypass it, you just never set it up. And then all you have is a nice little monitor right there at your hands. And this isn't live, so I can't ask you guys, what am I missing? I think I said everything I wanted to say. TempSpike Pro is my recommendation. If you don't want that, my second best option is the TempSpike Plus. There you have it, guys. I hope I answered all of your questions. I'm a huge nerd about these things, so if I left something out, ask me in the comment section below. I'm highly active down there, and I will get back to you ASAP. The links to all of these are down below. If you're interested, just go ahead on these if you want those on Amazon. Just click the single option if that's what you're looking for. But hey, it is February. We are staring another barbecue season in the face. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to stock up on your gadgets for summer. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Until next week, be well.